Good evening, wizards, and welcome to episode 13 of the Crypto Wizard podcast. Now, guys, we are a bit short for space on time this week, unfortunately, due to the Bitcoin and XRP calls that actually just came through. The reason being, and the reason for a slight delay in recording this very close to the 8 p.m. UK time launch, is because I've been vigilantly monitoring the BTC and XRP USD pairing charts. The reason being is I did state over the past few days that I was not too confident on long positions until I saw the new terminology we're using for the wick fishing to actually commence. And wick fishing, very simple stuff, is simply the fishing of prior wicks or lower or higher wicks, whatever they may be, to potentially wipe out stop losses before continuing in our projected direction. And that's exactly what has just happened right now. So hopefully at the time of actually listening to this, the market would have now reversed ever so further in our favor, and we will be on track to catching a very nice long trade across the XRP and BTC pairings. So looking at the chart right now, just a very quick coverage just so you can know what's going on in my head and what's going on in the charts as I'm actually recording this. XRP, I did state that I was not confident entering longs, knowing that a potential manipulation could occur to the likes of the 37 cents region. And that's exactly what happened with absolute precision. We literally tapped 37 cents, dipped a little bit lower, and now we're looking to absolutely rocket back towards the upside targets. So what I'm really projecting right now in this market, and also for BTC, just to cover very quickly as well, we broke a little bit lower, actually dipping towards around $7,582, dipping a little bit lower than the 7,650 region. However, with 3 minutes left on this candle closure, price is now flirting back with that $7,650 region as well. So hopefully by the time of recording, there will be a nice pullback. I know XRP has already gone straight in for the pullback, which is very good to see, looking very profitable already. So my ideology and theory here is that we are now shifting into a new potential bear market. And I do truly believe BTC may only now pull back to the likes of $8,000 to $8,100 one final time before we actually begin reversing next week into a new bearish market for the remainder of 2019. XRP the same, looking at around 41 to 42 cents as another retest, but in saying that, depending on how, I cannot give a full judgment just yet on these upside targets until I see exactly how this weekly candle closes, because a lot of significance is now on this weekly candle, because I do truly believe it could end up being a moment where if the weekly candle closes fairly high, then by all means this pullback that we've caught could aid us even further for XRP to move into the likes of 44 to 46 cents as a final kind of rejection moving into the week ahead. I then believe from there onwards we will be moving way further down into the likes of the 36 cents region for XRP, and even lower down to 34 cents. And for BTC, looking at these upside movements, should we actually close a bit higher, and this reversal does happen much faster than anticipated before the weekly candle closure, then by all means I do believe this could preferably, push its way up to the likes of $8,400 to $8,600 before inevitably reversing all the way back down and breaking through the $7,000 region as we shift into next week. And it is looking very possible right now, so there is no way on earth I'm going to disregard such a large possibility from occurring. So pushing all this aside, why am I really thinking this right now? And the reason being is the weekly candle closure is showing horrific signs of a first ever pullback in this bullish phase we've had for the past few weeks. So we're finally seeing some bearishness coming on that weekly perspective, and judging from how prior candles have closed mimicking this current price action, we could very easily be in store for a potential retest of the regions, even 8250, 8300, and it just slams all the way down from there onwards. So judging from how this candle is right now, moving into next week, I do truly believe there is a bear market that is about to begin. So until that weekly candle closes, there's not much more to be said on that manner, but I want to focus more importantly on the main topic of this podcast, and that is Facebook's new cryptocurrency Libra. So reading into Libra a bit further, it turns out that Facebook, obviously it's questionable when it comes to decentralization, and I'll get to that in a minute, but the biggest question right now is Facebook. So they're actually going for what is allegedly meant to be a hassle-free cross-border payment solution. They're going to be pegging the crypto to a basket of treasury bills from Switzerland. So they are looking to tackle that cross-border payment sector as well. So the biggest question that's arising right now is the likes of Ripple, Stellar Lumens in particular. What is going to happen to these cryptos? Is Facebook going to be a big competitor to these specific cryptocurrency projects? And the answer is absolutely not. There is no need for them to come on board and try and take over the likes of Ripple or XLM, XRP, whatever you want to kind of go off. There is no real logical thought process behind why they would be a severe competitor. First of all, Facebook being one of the, I actually consider them a hypnotic company, a company which has actually managed to amass and brainwash 1.56 billion users daily into using their platform to do nothing else, a bit like Instagram, to mimic and watch other people's lives and live your, I guess you could say, your happiness, and you're fulfilling your own emotions through somebody else's life. Instagram, Facebook, everything you see on there, whereas Facebook has gone a bit more downhill. Again, I do not use Facebook at all anymore because it's just become a flooded, I guess you could say, a flooded arena of just teenage pregnancies and mums that are angry and posting all kinds of political things. And me personally, not a political person in any means whatsoever. I do not watch the news, have not watched the news in years. I prefer to actually just remain a little bit ignorant and away from any negativity in the world. I try and keep a very positive mindset, and to be honest with you, I'd rather not know what's going on in the world, all these horrific things that are happening. I live a very happy life staying that way, and for me, politics, etc., all of these bills or laws that may get passed, I still have not found a way for it to really affect me personally, even with the likes of Brexit that's going on in the UK. For everyone that's complaining, all these protests and stuff, for me, all of these things have happened time and time before in the world, in the UK in particular. All of these political things happen, the changes happen, things change just all over, but my life has never changed. Yes, the recession will be the only real significant thing that will impact the world and the US in particular, but we have to look at it this way. I personally have just always been this way. I've stayed away from politics. There was a point in time where I didn't even know for around a year who the UK Prime Minister was. I didn't even know who Theresa May was for a very long time. And it's not a stupidity thing. I just prefer to not get involved in the slightest. It just does not affect me. Even when I'm trading Forex here and there, I just prefer to stay away from it. I've just always been that way, and it's just made me a much happier person overall by dodging all of this news, and Facebook has become a field for that as well. But putting Instagram into this perspective as well, you have to remember Instagram and Facebook in general, all of these social media platforms, all of these celebrities you follow, these wealthy people, they are just showing you a highlight reel of the best moments in their life. They are not showing you the downsides, the negatives. They are not showing you what they're really going through behind the scenes. You're just seeing a highlight reel. You're just seeing the happy times, the luxury things they're buying, the luxury jets, all these superstars you see. They're not showing you that deep down they're fucking miserable. So I've kind of just managed to even brush aside from that. Even Instagram, I haven't really been using it for a month now. I've just been kind of refreshing and detoxing myself away. But the majority of the generation overall, millennials in particular, they are now brainwashed by social media, and Facebook has now managed to capture that specific audience and very well managed to utilize it for data. But other companies haven't really integrated too strongly with Facebook. You have to look at it this way. Facebook is a Goliath and a giant moving on its own steady track. There are not too many companies and corporations really looking to work with them, especially when it comes to data breaches. And again, we know deep down Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is capturing every single crucial piece of analytical data to use us as almost guinea pigs to sell our data onwards to other companies. That's the only real way other companies are integrating with Facebook, by using their data. So when you're looking at it in that perspective, they are trying to breach that. Again, many of these tech giants as well, they're saying that they're going to be adopting, it's like a node licensing model. So each node is going to cost around $10 million. And they have around 100 nodes available for licensing. So unlike Bitcoin, for example, you actually need a fairly significant amount of capital to kickstart and have a node running. So the way the decentralized blockchain allegedly will be working is going to be based off I guess you can, I don't even know how to explain it. I guess you can kind of trust people, or trust the fact that they are allowing only a very small minority of people with a significant amount of money to control the nodes and validate, etc. payments. But When you put this into perspective, that just means the elite are simply going to be in ever more power of this specific blockchain or coin or project, whatever it is. They haven't revealed too much details yet. I know it's called Project Libra, but for me it just seems like another power grab for the elite and people in that very high criteria. I mean, giving away or even risking $10 million just to run a node is a fairly significant amount of money, even for the most wealthiest of investors or traders or individuals. It could be the global elite. It's still a very large amount of money to be running a node on a blockchain that isn't really running in the same league right now as any other project we have. So just because you have the buzzword of Facebook, it doesn't matter. If your local Walmart, if you're in the US, or Tesco has just released a crypto, it doesn't mean you're going to trust it because they're not involved in that space. So although they are in the technology sector, there is just something there telling me it's not going to be as adopted or as groundbreaking or revolutionary as many people expect. I just believe it's going to simply be another way for Facebook to track people. Blockchain is open. You can literally track transactions. And again, I know it's all wallet addresses, there's no personal data, but when you are going through a method where the likes of Facebook, one of the biggest companies right now that are known to be using personal data, breaching personal data rights 24/7, that's all Facebook are doing, you cannot really trust them in an aspect of cryptocurrency. But in saying that, whilst I do not believe the project's going to be threatening to anything, and again, bearing in mind they're only just starting, so trying to have a new startup crypto try and tackle let's say an already existing company like Ripple or Stellar Lumens, it's not too much of a concern for the time being, to be honest with you. But what I do find very, very positive for this space is the actual possibility of the 1.56 billion user base being introduced to cryptocurrencies. Granted, they are a very unethical company, and granted, they are not likely doing this for the sake of the people or to aid the cryptocurrency revolution, but what they are doing is awakening masses of people. They have the entire world under hypnosis. At a finger click, I guarantee you they can find out every single bit of personal information about you. They are tracking your habits, your shopping habits, any form of habit you have, whether that's searches. They are tracking absolutely every detail of your personal life. They know more about you than you do, because the average person is not woke enough to actually evaluate themselves and really break down their emotions and their psychological impacts on a much deeper scale. So Facebook are doing it for you. That is why we say sheeps versus wolves. It's the same as the crypto market. We have sheeps, and all of these sheep that are on Facebook just following the herd, arguing over political stuff, getting angry. People are dying over Facebook. People are dying over Twitter. People are dying over Instagram, and that is that sheepish mentality, and the world is just getting worse by the day, I can assure you. But in the same way, the positivity I can slightly see from all of this is the fact that, yes, realistically, with 1.56 billion people hypnotized daily to use Facebook, by pushing this agenda towards them, it's only going to open their eyes to the possibilities of what cryptocurrency is. And guess what? Even if we can get 5 to 10% of that audience to start researching crypto further, it's going to slowly trickle down. It's going to start boosting other projects or other competitors in similar spaces to also go out there and do exactly the same. So overall, guys, I just wanted to round this up and let you know that this is not a concern. I know many people are projecting concerns and wondering what's going on. You're asking me, is this a threat to the projects you've invested in? Absolutely not. It's only going to be more beneficial for the space. And you have to realize, the more this space grows, the more you're going to start seeing some of the biggest corporate giants in this field going down the exact same avenue. We cannot turn them away. We have to welcome them with open arms, because they are going to grow this space further than any other retail trader or speculative capital can do. Wall Street, corporations, blue chip companies, we need all of these people on board, doing trials, doing tests, doing absolutely everything in their power to make projects. And guess what? Many of them will fail anyway, but the fact they are getting involved is just solidifying this much further to me that cryptocurrency is here to stay for good. Now, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up short and sweet. This was simply just to express a bit of what was on my mind right now, and just to give you a little update on the market as well, because in a matter of hours, as we get to that weekly candle closure, I'm going to be throwing through a fairly large market analysis into the Telegram to recap on the prior week we've just had, the week ahead, and how we could be potentially shifting into the next bearish market for the remainder of 2019, which I do believe is going to be a very significant lead up to the bull run that should be happening in 2020. Now guys, I'm going to leave you on that note, and again, apologies, this was going to be a short one this week and it had to be, but I wanted to make sure you guys were saving money and making money on those calls in the meantime as well. So in this very rare circumstance, we're going to cut this one short, but I'll be back in the Telegram now with consistent updates to make sure we are making money every step of the way, especially for the remainder of this week. Crypto Wizard over and out.